Hey, everybody. The handsome Aaron Hall is with us today. Chuck Cook. Great to be with you guys. By the way, I love the art on your wall there because posters are art, as they say on. I just think those are great posters. What are those pictures of?
Yeah, so these are some art that was done kind of shortly after.
What are those pictures of?
Shortly after Trump was inaugurated. So art that was done kind of.
Oh, we're getting echo on your speaker all of a sudden.
Yeah, shortly after Trump was inaugurated. Some art that was done kind of.
Oh, we're getting echo on your speaker all of a sudden.
Yeah, shortly after Trump was inaugurated. Some art that was done kind of.
Oh, we're getting echo on your speaker all of a sudden. Aaron, that's very weird. I don't know what's going on. Oh, we're getting echo on your. Aaron, that's very weird. I don't know what's going on. That's very weird. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, Aaron, you're still getting the echo. I'm gonna have you sign off and get back on. Yeah, Aaron, you're still getting the echo. I'm gonna have you sign off and get back on. That was very weird, everybody. Don't know what that was, but Aaron will get back on here in a second, and hopefully we can go back to having our conversation. Thank you, everybody. We don't have a lot of list watchers today, and because there's not a lot going on, is the thing. So we'll see what happens when Aaron gets back on here. But I do want to kind of start off with talking about the appeal. Aaron and I were just briefly discussing the appeal. Aaron will get back on. Here he is. Thanks, Aaron. I don't know what that was, but it was very weird. It's all I can tell you.
I'm going to talk, and we're going to see how it goes, and then I'm going to mute.
I know you're good. You're perfect now. It was a very weird experience. Is all I can tell you. But anyway, welcome to Impact Litigation. It's great to have everybody with us today. We want to first talk about the Go appeal, because Aaron and I were just talking about that before we went live here, because it's people need to know what's going on. All right, so government has appealed, and the government, because they appealed first, they have a whole series of deadlines that they have to meet with the court. We then cross appealed. At the same time that these two things happened, the court consolidated our appeal, the government's appeal in our case, with its appeal of the Good Luck PI, right? Because it's a PI. They don't have a final decision, which is weird, but probably not, because they did. He did in the Good Luck PI. He did order the government to start issuing the visas, right? So presumably in order to not issue visas, they have to appeal. But Aaron, the government needs a stay to not issue these, right?
Yeah, I mean, so the Judge Mehta's orders are effective unless the government gets a stay of them. And in normal order, what they have to do is ask Judge Mehta first for a stay, and only if he denies do they ask the circuit for a stay. They haven't done that as of yet. And so right now, they're under an order to produce the visas that were reserved, and they still have the deadline of the fiscal year. But there's nothing preventing that order from being effective. And if they don't get a stay, then it will be effective, and they'll have to start issuing visas here, because I don't think that there's going to be a decision on the appeal till late spring at the earliest, more likely summer.
Well, I'm thinking the summer.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have briefs, they're going to have oral argument. Maybe the Biden administration will do the right thing eventually and withdraw their appeals and start issuing the visas. Maybe the Build Back Better bill will pass, and the lawsuits become moot, and they're required to issue all the visas. I mean, that's quite possible. So we just want everybody to know that we are aware of the deadlines. They're very complicated. So don't be texting us or emailing us or DMing us. Did you do this? Did that? We know the deadlines. We'll get everything done. And as the government posts stuff, we will post it on the Twitter machine and our website. We'll have a web page dedicated to Go on Impact Litigation, and we'll get that information out to everybody on that case.
Yeah, the we're not going to be giving updates on every little procedural thing that happens in the next month or two. When the briefs are filed, we'll give everybody access to those, obviously, and whatnot. But just know that there's mostly procedural things happening through into January, and then we'll get into briefing after that.
Yeah, so this is actually, I think, good news ultimately for us, and we'll, again, the reason we appealed again was to get more visas. Since the government's appealed, we don't see there's any risk in us. If it was just us appealing, that would make any sense because, we might lose. But the government's already appealed, so that might happen. So you might as well go for it, right? You might as well go for it at this point. And Aaron is an extraordinary writer. So yeah, you are. I don't know if you know that, Aaron, but you really are. So we'll be doing that and go. In the Gomez-Acker case, that's different. Because there is the judge reserved the visa, but there's no active PI in that case as far as issuing visas. So Goodluck has an active PI, but I don't think Gomez has an active PI. Or am I mistaken about that? Because I have not seen a Gomez appeal in this case.
Oh, an active appeal?
Yeah.
Because I don't recall that there's an appeal.
No, I don't either. And people may remind us here, but again, they have to issue 9,095. I get emails, the DMs every day. I don't know. They're not disclosing their information. I don't know. So that's kind of, unfortunately, that's where we are. I wanted to talk today a little bit because we had I want to go over where we are in the K cases, the K visas. Start with K1 Cairo. K1 Cairo is done because everybody got their visas, both for the family base and the K1. So the K1 Rio case, this is the Penn litigation. So we started with 131 couples. 41 have had their visas issued. 12 have been interviewed or scheduled for interview. 9 have been transferred from the NVC. 15 are still stuck at the NVC, and the rest would be most people. About over half the couples have not shared their updates with us, so we don't really know. We have 3 people that have gotten their visas issued since we withdrew the 2038 cases in November 1. And what we're going to do is withdraw the additional 3 to get back in front of the judge again and say, Judge, there's still, all the people that they're just sitting out there. And, we think the court should order a decision in this case. So we'll try to get back in front of the judge. Remember, each one of these K cases has a different judge. So it's not like one judge is sitting on all the cases like Judge Mehta was on the diversity visas. This is each different judge. So we've got that in the Penn case. In the Manila case, and Manila perhaps is more problematic and more troubling because 1, it's been around longer. 2, these cases are generally much older than the other cases, even though they're not all older. And 3, because their numbers are so low. So we have 30 visas issued out of 141 couples. 10 have been interviewed or scheduled. 9 have been transferred from the NVC but not interviewed yet. 79 are still at the NVC. And this is something we didn't include in our withdrawal previously. We just said, Judge, withdraw these cases. They're approved. I'm going to treat this next withdrawal as an update as well to the judge. So if you have not, and we have a number of people that have been interviewed, were canceled or rescheduled. If you would please go into your particular case and update your data if you're watching this, that would be very helpful. We'll send an email out too. And we want to get this to the court, but that's 4 more visas have been issued since November 1. 4 in a month, Aaron. 4 in a month. And it's not like Manila's open. The Philippines is open. It's unconscionable what's happening at the consulate in Manila. K1 Moscow is the Ponomarenko case. And just in Manila is the Ramirez case. But Ponomarenko case, This is a little different than the other cases because we were suing because we knew the consulate was not going to interview people. And we were saying, Judge, make them identify another consulate, which they did. They have identified Warsaw as the primary post for now homeless Russian cases. Now, Aaron, the homeless moniker is everybody knows what homeless means, right? But homeless in immigration is actually a specialized, let's call it a term of art. That means your consulate's not issuing the visa, so you can go anywhere in the world. Iran has been homeless for years, and there have been posts in Turkey that have been designated, but others in Dubai take those cases as well. So Warsaw, but if you, as a Russian, you can get in anywhere because you're homeless, so to speak. So in the Moscow case, we had 61 couples, 23 have had visa issued. That's one more, that's just one in the last month. And just everybody knows, hopefully everybody's aware, Putin's kicking out more diplomats from the U.S. consulate. So the ones being kicked out now are those that have been there for more than 3 years because we're refusing to renew the visas of Russian consular officials that have been here for 3 years. So it's a retaliatory move. But most consular officers only serve 3 years anyway. So I don't think it really affects it that much. Except he's not allowing them to be replaced. So you've got that. We've got 12 that have been interviewed or scheduled, not necessarily Moscow, but somewhere. We have 9 that are stuck. I'm sorry, this is wrong. 23 of visas issued. 3 have been scheduled or completed and not visa issued yet. 3 have been sent to the consulate, and 27 are still stuck. So we will, and 5 people say they list USCIS as their status. And I don't know, we don't know what that means. So we want to explain when you list your status as USCIS what you're talking about. But again, we're going to do an update for that one person that got approved, gives us a chance to go back in front of the judge. And then finally, we have the London or the King case. We've had 118 couples start. 80 have been issued visas. London, honestly, has done, basically, it took care of almost everything. So 80 been issued, and that's 16 more in the last month. 10 have been scheduled for the interviews or been interviewed. 19 have been sent by the NVC to the consulate. There's only one plaintiff stuck at the consulate at the NVC for London. So London is clearly trying to clear these backlogs out, and nobody else is. But again, we've got 16 more couples we can advise the court of, and we'll advise the court of the rest. So that's kind of
Chuck. Let's when we're talking about all these cases and providing updates and hoping to get a decision on the motions to dismiss, what happens after that? Let's say we get it back in front of the judge, and the judge issues a decision saying we're denying the motion to dismiss. The case is proceeding. What happens then? What can we expect?
Well, then we file a motion for summary judgment and begin negotiating with the government to avoid a summary judgment. They do not want a summary judgment granted in a case like this. They just want to get these cases done. And each of these 4 consulates, they have the capacity to moot out our clients. They can do that tomorrow. They can moot it out. Everybody gets approved. These are not class actions, and the cases go away. But they are under no pressure to do so while a motion to dismiss is pending. It's basically a reprieve for them. And apparently the only consulate treating it with any sense of urgency appears to be London. So that's what we would be doing.
That's why we think, that's my expectation too. If we survive the motions to dismiss, there will be more pressure that you'll have a Department of Justice lawyer contacting the Department of State over and over again saying, what's the status of these cases? What's the status of these cases? I don't want to do summary judgment. And I think that pressure will get cases moving fast. So that's what we're trying to do with these updates, is get the decision issued.
And again, this is beyond something that I've ever seen in my 32-year career of federal judges sitting on motions to dismiss. I mean, I've never seen it ever before this. Now, part of it is in DC, the judges are overwhelmed with these insurrection cases, which are constantly in the news. And each of these judges has insurrection cases. There no longer is one U.S. attorney as well. Each of these cases not only have different judges now, they have different U.S. attorneys. Joe Carrilli has left the Department of Justice, at least the position he had at the Department of Justice. This is, so we have different lawyers. And I have not personally spoken to the lawyers yet, but as we prepare to file the additional motions, our motions to withdraw plaintiffs, we will reach out to government counsel and say, look, what are you doing here? Why are we still doing this? And so we'll be doing that as well. So that's kind of where we are on the case. We're constantly working these cases, trying to get answers for folks. Let's see what else we got here. We got some other things going on today. I just want to get down to the right. We want to advise everybody we still have the visa fee litigation that we're doing, so that if you paid a fee for an interview, for a visa, the MRV fee, the machine readable visa fee, for the CVIS fee for the government, and you didn't get interviewed, or you got denied because of, hey, travel ban, sign up for this litigation. It's free to you, doesn't cost you anything, and we're going to try to get your money back from the government. I mean, some of you it's not a lot of money, others it's $300. I mean, but it doesn't cost you a dime, and it gives us a chance to go after the Department of State for breaking the law. They are literally breaking the law, but the only way to hold them accountable is to go to the court with a bunch of plaintiffs and say, look, Judge, it's not an isolated incident. This is all over the place. So it's kind of where we are. Aaron, what about our EAD litigation? I want to make sure here where is my banner? I have to create a new banner. So where are we on the EAD litigation?
So the amended complaint was filed last week. We have an attorney that's entered for the government. And the next thing that happens from our end is our motion to certify class. That will be within about the next month or so. It's not urgent. It has to be within 90 days of the complaint being filed. But our expectation is that there's going to be some communications that are starting now that there's an attorney for the government entered before they have to file their answer to the complaint. Because at least in theory, like a lot of these cases, but at least in theory, both sides should really want a resolution to this. It should be embarrassing to the government that it's taking this long to adjudicate EADs. There's been some press about it even in the last couple of weeks, explaining the damage that it's doing. And they have said in court, in Chakrabarty, they've said that it's one of their top priorities is quickly adjudicating EADs. So the processing times should really be an embarrassment. And we are hoping that they're going to come to the table to talk about solutions before they have to file their answer. So we will see.
All right. The next thing I want to talk about, and we'll update people every week on that, but I want to talk about the travel ban again for our friends from 7 countries in Southern Africa, including South Africa. We actually are considering filing a lawsuit for you. This is a waiting. If you're interested in suing the consulate for canceling your interview, because they're canceling, cancel all interviews in December, and they said their website says we will not issue you a visa because of the travel ban. I don't know how they didn't learn their lesson before, because the visas, you can go to a third country, you can still quarantine for 14 days somewhere else. So it's outrageous they're doing that. But again, unless they're held accountable, and we're happy to hold them accountable again, that would be a joy. So if you want, go to Greg's app here. I love that Greg is the app master. And he created an app for this. Go in and sign up for that. And we already reached out to about 20 people. We let them know the cost of doing this. We would love to file. We would really love to file. I will note on our H-1B wage rule litigation, we do have an update. Government's caving. They're gonna basically agree to the decision, and that's it. So we won the wage rule, and this is the wage rule, Aaron, that had the wildly increased wages, and that's gone. It's gone. Doesn't mean they won't come back a year from now and try to redo it, or 6 months from now, but we won. So the Humane Society case is going to be over here shortly. We just agreed to a 30-day extension for the government's answer, and we're negotiating on final settlement right now. So that would be kind of fun. And I think, is there anything else, any other case that I'm forgetting about, Aaron?
I don't know, we can maybe get to questions.
Yeah, let's get some questions here. And there is one. There was one. It's on top of my head, and it will come to me as we talk, I'm sure. All right, so we've got Trey Yates. Go here. Can you hold the government accountable in January report? Yes. Oh, no, trust me. We've been keeping track. And I think somebody added up that they issued. I'm going to pull up the statistics right now for state, because I understand that they did issue finally their visa statistics for October. I want to go in and check this here. Let's see, the monthly immigrant visas. Go down here. Oh, good. Here's October issuances by post and visa class. We'll scroll to the bottom here and see if we get a bottom line number. No, they did issue 36,000 immigrant visas worldwide, but I'm pretty sure somebody went in and added up that they'd issued 6 or 7 or 11 or something DVs as part of this, which is completely insane. That's completely insane number. I mean, in October, it's insane. And I know our friend Britt Simon has talked that they basically haven't even scheduled anybody for December, and nobody really got issued in November either. And I'm not hearing about any January schedulings. It's like, really, you want to? So we're going to sue. All right, I think we're going to sue. Keep in mind that the Build Back Better plan does not protect DV 2022. It doesn't recapture any DV 2022. These numbers will be lost. And even though the government is not following their tiered processing anymore, Aaron, I bet that if we went through here in detail, we would see that they are de facto doing tiered processing. Because I'm looking at this. There's a DV in Azerbaijan. 4 people in Azerbaijan got their DVs in October. Congratulations, folks. Congratulations. But let's see. There's 4. I'm not going to add this up. 4 in Azerbaijan, 3 in Cameroon. That's 7, and 3 in Georgia. So 10 people. Oh yeah, 10 people got DVs in October. Wow, that's crazy. So yes, we will hold them accountable. How many is there any time limit to get the state order? Well, the government's going to say, Judge, we have until September 30th to do these. That's what they're going to say. But when they've issued none by January in their report, the judges, we will, of course, ask for a conference with the judge and say, Judge, this is not good faith. They're not good faith complying with your order. They're doing nothing. Nothing. Oh, by the way, Judge, tomorrow we're filing our DV 2022 case. So remember, we told you we'd be looking at the first quarter's numbers. I assume by early January we'll have the November numbers. And we'll see that they've done nothing, which will provide lots of fuel for the file. Joe, thanks for coming in today. We've got Lucky the Maverick. Thanks for these live streams. You're welcome. CIS is a mess, isn't it, Aaron? It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Aaron and I both spoke at a conference together last week on litigation on this exact thing, teaching other lawyers. I think there was like 500 lawyers tuning in. And then the next day, I actually was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, speaking about litigation. And part of that whole panel was I had an ex-consular officer on our panel because the panel was about consular processing issues. But all day long, we heard about USCIS issues. USCIS director, Chadu, has just started doing listening sessions out in the field. So she's left the hovel in Maryland and went out to the West Coast. And she tweeted about this on her So you should follow the USCIS director, at USCIS director. It's Chadu. And she got ratioed, Aaron.
I didn't see that.
Oh, she got ratioed big time on her tweet at USCIS. I don't know what the current ratio is. I'm going to look for the current ratio here to see how bad it was. But let's see. Chadu, her tweet. Let's see. She got 68 likes and 66 comments. So she overcame the ratio. only because I bet a whole bunch of people from the USCIS liked it. I will also tell you that I did get a comment on one of my USCIS posts from a currently working adjudicator at USCIS who is anonymous on the Twitter machine. And essentially said, it's worse than you know. It's worse than you know. Lucky the Maverick, I have a question regarding EB Gross and TSC. The certain process like that, Lucky, is the question for the ages. But the question, Aaron, how would we challenge this? Okay, how can first of all the government argues that first in first out, which is a lie, and it's a lie from their own numbers because Nebraska Service Center, and he put NBC, but really Nebraska Service Center is light years ahead of the Texas Service Center. So how can they argue first in first out? They can't. So how do you challenge that? And that's the question we have to come up with.
Yeah. They say that the way that they distribute applications between the service centers is to try to even it out and make send more applications where there's more capacity. So I don't know what their explanation is for letting this happen, like the commenter said.
You know, you can tell how many cases are at service centers compared to local offices, but you can't tell, at least I don't think you can, how many are at each service center. And USCIS has not updated their statistics since for fiscal year 2021. They haven't published them yet. So the last stats we have that I'm aware of, oh, wait a second, they may have just published something in November that I missed. Let's see the data stats. I'll have to take a look here. Yeah, they have not published the 2020 numbers or 2021 numbers. So we don't know anything from July onward. Is there a way to make Service Center accountable? Well, that's we have to think about that. Is because that would be an interesting lawsuit to bring against the Immigration Service for unfair. I mean, is it an equal protection claim? Is there an equal protection claim here? Because they are treating similarly situated individuals differently. Wait, is that too much? Is that too out there? An equal protection claim?
I don't know. We'd have to see if there's anything that could support it. But I mean, you'd think that there's a claim somewhere. It's certainly arbitrary and capricious, right? The fact that they're allowing one service center to go to have those kind of wait times and another has different wait time, that it doesn't make sense.
We're gonna look at that. I think we need to do a little thought process about that. I begin teaching my law school classes again in January. That would make an interesting piece of work for a new law student. What do you think? I think that would be interesting. Sharon Gruber, hey, go plaintiff. I received the email that I answered very well with us. I have to wait a year for interview. We'll soon have interviews. Sharon, all we know is the government has until September 30th to issue those visas. That's what they have till. The judge did not give them any more direction than that, but there is a good faith component to every compliance. And it appears to me that the government is violating the good faith of the court in not consistently adjudicating these cases.
I agree. That's how it appears. It's going to be tough to force their hand. So if the government went into the court at a status update or a conference and they said, Judge, we understand, we're going to comply with your order, but we've got this appeal going on and our intention is we will grant every one of these visas in September of 2022. That's in compliance with the order. And they can say, we're going to drop everything else and grant these in September 2022.
Yeah, at the same time, they're issuing 15,000 DV 2022s because there's a preliminary injunction in place requiring the issue as many as possible. Yeah, that'll be great. Let's see. We've got Robaksha. Is there anything attorneys can do to get them to look at Ramirez? Yeah, we just talked about that, Robaksha. We have another filing we're going to make, see if we can through our notice to the court, basically plead with the court to issue a decision. Because even if he did not, let's say he grants the motion to dismiss, that then gives us another opportunity to move forward. So that's kind of where we are. Gilbert, good to see you in Maryland. Massachusetts, not Maryland, Massachusetts. It must be something you already asked that. Castillo, good to see you. Oh, you're from Venezuela, por supuesto. Federico, thank you very much for what you're doing. When should we get the EAD lawsuit done? Any news on growth loss settlement? Well, I think, Aaron, you want to address that question?
Yeah, we talked about that before. No news, no substantive news yet. They've just had a attorney enter appearance, I think, last week, and so we'll have updates as they're available. But we don't have anything substantive on a settlement.
All right, we've got any news on the Senate? Yeah, no.
You've got the two pessimists on right now. We don't have Greg on, so
Greg is an eternal optimist. I'm not outside of this. I'm a very optimistic guy. I'm a farmer and a gardener when I'm not a lawyer, so I better be optimistic. I don't know a pessimistic farmer out there.
I think that they're going to have a preliminary ruling from the parliamentarian on the parole provisions, maybe even today or tomorrow. But for some strange reason, they haven't presented the visa recapture provisions or the early adjustment provisions at all yet. And they're saying that they're going to do that later. I frankly don't understand.
The last bit I heard was that we will have the parliamentarians' decision on the whole bill. I mean, it's not just this. There's a lot of things in this bill. And the CBO numbers by a week from Friday, which, of course, is the Friday before Christmas. And Schumer promised everybody had plenty of time to read everything before Christmas. So I don't know about you, Aaron, but I'm taking the 24th off, and we will be closed that day. And I mean, if the bill passes on the 24th, I'm sure we'll have an emergency YouTube live to let everybody know. But I'm not holding my breath. They still have not passed the debt limit increase, which is like tick-tock, baby, tick-tock, nor the National Defense Appropriations Act, the NDAA, tick-a-taco. So those are just, if not more important than the BBB bill. So that's kind of where we are. Punam Princess with appealing. How long does it take for his Ruben to take time? We already answered all these questions on the go. So, all right. Let's see. The 9095, we already addressed that as well in Go, and that is by the end of the year. That's when they could do it all. They could do it all in September. Anish, please that's just made a. No. Keep in mind the judge the case is actually at the Court of Appeals now. So while the judge has ordered that he get an update, we're still waiting on the visa reissue clarification, which he has not given us. We don't really have a right to ask the judge to modify his order. I don't see that ending well for us, Aaron.
No.
So, and non-whale, one more question. DV20 has a court decision. First, well, they're supposed to be done at the same time, man. So we'll see. If the BBB bill, the Build Back Better bill, the quadruple B, passes, Go is over. If that provision's in there, because everybody gets their visa. Everybody gets a visa.
Maybe. I want to read the final language on it and make a decision about that. It's likely mostly over. We may argue to keep the order in place just to have our 481 plaintiffs who do get selected get in by the end of this fiscal year, because the BBB provisions won't have such a deadline.
That is true.
So we'll see.
Okay. All right, Joe, why haven't they done 2020 cases? Judge doesn't think anything about it because this is out of sight, out of mind, man. Gilberto, I would like to know if possible for me to travel back to Venezuela as long with the EAD. I asked for permission to go see my kids who come back. I'm going to assume that Gilberto is applying for asylum, Aaron, and you and I have filed many asylum cases. Have you ever filed for travel permission for somebody who filed for asylum?
I have, but not to go to their country of origin.
Yeah, you're barred. If you go there, your asylum case is over. And I've only, in 32 years, and Aaron, I've done over 1,000 asylum cases in my career. I've only asked for travel permission once, and that was for somebody to be an organ donor to their sibling and not in their home country. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you're not going back to Venezuela, my bud. If you do, you can kiss your asylum case goodbye. Sahir, good to see you. Jason Claus, Jason Miller says scheduling interviews 2021 cases. which is something we will bring up to the court in the update. In fact, Jason, if you wouldn't mind DMing me or emailing me the site that says they're scheduling interviews for July 2021, I don't know where you're getting that. So if you could get me that link, that would be very, very helpful. Aaron, that's the last of our questions today. It is always a joy to be live with you on these questions. We'll have Greg back next week. Now, Aaron, you are today at 2:00. Is that right?
We're Thursday at 2.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep getting confused. And I think Greg's firm is today at 2. We're on Wednesday. I'll be Wednesday at 2. We're actually every day at 2, but today at 2, Aaron, we're in Mandarin at today at 2. And it's not moi. It's not moi, because my Mandarin stinks. All right. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.